exam as well. So if you see, I have made this announcement. I'm recording this as well for those who will later on join us. So final exam and project deadline, if you have seen, there is no final exam for this course. So it has to be a bit of good news. Like again, you won't have to give any exam in this course. Rather, what you'll do, we are going to have one grand quiz of 10 marks. So this is important that we are going to have a 10 marks quiz only, in lieu of our final exam. And the rest of the 15 marks, you would have seen that. I'll just explain that. So 10 marks grand quiz, and the project will be considered as part of final exam. It means the distribution of marks will be as follows. So again, so 10 marks grand quiz, and how it will just accumulate. So the project becomes of 35. That was 20 before, of course, the already given marks, and now there are 15 in lieu of the examination. So it means collectively that will make it 35, the project. So it's a major project, and again, you don't have a final exam for this course, so at least you might get some time for this to complete that one. Grand quiz 10 marks, and its details I've just forwarded. So 10 marks, there will be a grand quiz. The deadline for submission of project is basically August 23, which if you see, that is one weekend, like again Saturday and Sunday after your exam. So by the way, you are supposed to work for a bit in on your project during the week as well, alongside of course your final exams. But other than that, I've just given you these last you considered August 20, 22 and 21 and 22, which is Saturday and Sunday, so that you can just work on that after completion of your final exams, right? So you will have 2 extra days after your exams, and of course this you have already, most of you have already maybe started working on that or whatever. You can just always look at that, right? So this was the first announcement made, and the second announcement, and it's regarding grand quiz and Tuesday's class. So the grand quiz will be held in our second class of the week, which generally is Tuesday, of course. To give you ample time for preparation, the class is shifted from Tuesday, August 10 to Thursday, August 12, 1 p.m. So please note that tomorrow we have no class. So it means no class tomorrow on Tuesday, but we will have this Thursday, August 12, 1 p.m. And rather than a class, it would be just there for the grand quiz. So by one way or other, we'll be just ending up our topics today, and then we'll be just having this quiz or grand quiz on our, like, on Thursday, August 12th at 1 p.m. right? So you will be there for this 1 p.m. Exam. So grand quiz, right? So, and the grand quiz on Thursday, August 12th at 1 p.m. Canada time. So I've just mentioned Canada time. If you are not in the time zone, of course, you might not be able to comprehend. So this is 1 p.m. This Canada time. So again, if so, you will be getting that that quiz on August 12th. So no class effectively tomorrow. So effectively, our today's class will be last class by all means, and then we will have our quiz on August 12th. Okay, regarding contents of grand quiz, I'll just towards the end of the class, I'll just let you know, or rather I'll just just put up an announcement related to the content, what will be the grand quiz content. So I said you will get an announcement shortly, but you did not get. Of course, I'll give that orally to you and then put that as an announcement. So I just wanted to give you a good picture, clear picture of these two things, so that you have this in mind, and you know that what's going on in that particular situation. Right. So just hold on a minute. Let me just stop sharing for a minute, and then we can have. Yes. So what we are going to do today, as I said, this will be a very fun part. Okay. First of all, if someone can remind me, in last class that was quite disturbed, and I had all my day spent with city people in my home. Anyhow, so basically what we did towards the end, were we able to successfully create the database? If I remember correctly, everyone has a database now in their system with the name Conestoga. If I am not wrong, can anyone please correct me? or remind me that yes, it was something that we had done. I'll show you something interesting. Okay. So you remember we talked about this one. Was everyone on this page? Like you have this SQL Server Management Studio where we had created, you remember we had created Conestoga database, and then for example, I gave you Conestoga 1 as well, just for that purpose. So what I'm expecting is that all of you have this database created into your system where I inserted these 3 records in that database as well. What was those records? That again, user 1 password, user 2 password 2, and user 3 password 3, etc., etc., etc. And this table is the user info table. Can I get a quick feedback on the chat window that how many of you have this one ready with you? Like again, the Conestoga database, because this was I just gave you one for example purpose, but originally we created this one, the Conestoga database, this which has a user info table. So how many of you can see that table? If you can just quickly let me know. This user info at Conestoga. Good, Manpreet. Thank you. Manpreet is saying is she's with this one. So what I'll do definitely, what I'll just Baldeep. Thank you. If I see, I'm looking at the Conestoga table first of all. Select top 1,000 rows. So how many rows are there? So let's see. Yes, I have these 3 rows over there. So what I'll do is that I will just I'll delete this Conestoga one. I don't want that one, right? Because I already have. Okay, so this would be deleted. Now you see, so this is our Conestoga database. Everyone is with me and everyone has this database with them. I have just got response from 2 people, Manpreet and Baldeep. No else. Can I get a response from everyone? Either a yes or a no, maybe. Yeah. There is a no, yes, or and even there is a not no. Baldeep, what's going on? Okay, so why Monarch and Mukul? Why no? You remember we did that and we created this table. And even if I remember that we had solved a lot of people's problem, there were some people they were having problem in creating the database. So what I'm expecting that your database should have something like this in your system. So why not, Monarch? Can you just explain? That day didn't you follow me up? That's very bad. I'm not getting the quick responses from everyone. Either I am sleeping or everyone is sleeping. Okay, no problem, Mukul, no problem. What about you, Monarch, or maybe anyone else? I'm not. Monarch, you say could not understand. That's excellent. And you did not tell me on that day, maybe, or we didn't get a time because at that day I was very much disturbed. Okay, okay. Let's see. Mukul was having like Mukul was traveling, and I can understand there are lots of people who are traveling these days, so that's understandable. Anyone else? These are the 4 people, but we have got around 19 people over here other than me. Oh, some people are in waiting room. Let me just make all of them in. Okay, so those who have just joined us, maybe there are maybe some people who have just joined us. I am taking this feedback. If you can see my screen, that I am supposing that you all have a Conestoga database in your SQL Server, and that has a table db user info where we have just stored these record. Okay, good morning is gone. Lakshay, it's now 12 minutes past the class. Just leave good morning. Tell me if you have this table and everything with you. Thank you very much for good morning. But again, this is not the right time to say good morning, by the way. So Lakshay, so do you have this database with you? Okay, okay. And others as well? Tanveen, thank you very much. Yes, I need some a yes or a no. Some people have Winnie, thank you. So some people have mentioned that they were not able to follow because of someone, because of traveling, someone because of some other reason. But I am asking all those who have just joined us as well. You have this database with you. Anyhow, if you don't have, I will just not wait anymore for anyone else, and I'll try to just go ahead. Still, there are lots of people who are just dead silent. I don't know for what reason. Anyhow, I won't be just I won't be just asking them for again as well. So we are about to just create something like this. I'll just show you. We're just about to create something like this. We want to create a login user, a very bad UI. It's in. You can just always adjust that. And this will have, for example, I want to just create something like that. If I just create it, there's something wrong, again you can just put up any messages over here. And if I pass that user one and pass one, like the data that I have saved, and if it receives the proper data, it will just open up another window, which is right now this one. We can open anything that we want. So this is something that we are about to develop, right? So let me just show you once more. So I'll just run that one and show you. That's very interesting one. So this is our login screen, as I said. So this login screen will be of multiple functionalities. And what we'll be doing is that we'll be just giving any user ID and password. For example, I say LN123, whatever, and I say login. So something is wrong again because LN is not saved in our database. And what is saved in our database is user one and pass one. So if I pass that one, or user two and pass two, my database has not. So if that is successful, I will get a new window. So that's something that we'll do first of all. And then in the later part of the class, for your project purpose, I will just give you another interesting complete CRUD operations, and that will be my menu.xaml. Let me just run that one. I wanted to show you that what we are going to do today. So we will be just creating something like this as well. I'll be just making it a bit more so I am just deleting first of all a record. So again, so what I want to do, I will just do something like this: Alan and age 21 and phone number. I've just I have to just make all these things. I've just made a raw form, and when we'll be creating, we'll be just making it more proper. So you see, when I say something like this and I insert a record, you see successfully inserted record, and this record is also shown over here up to so on. Now I have a clear field, so I can just do that, and I can insert that like that. So you see that values IDs are coming from 7 to 10, and I'll show you that why they are coming that way. So we can just insert that one, right? We will update, we will some delete record. Right now what I'm doing, what is implemented over here is delete will delete all the records from this. So if I do that delete record, it says yes, record deleted, or record is deleting, and we say okay, so it deletes all the records. But if you just add on, so you see that it will just come with an extended ID. This time successfully inserted a record. So we have to create this one, and this clear data just clears out our form, right? So again, I've not given any UI for that one. And even for the login screen also, I will just give a very simple UI. I might not go for that extravagant UI, but again, we'll just look at the functionality. First of all, we want to look at the functionality, right? So these are the few things that we have to do today. So just keep in mind that these are, and that will give you a very good sense of some of the important concepts. Okay, so this was our application last time that we created. So today I'll just work on that, and I will just give you a good sense of what we are about to do. So everyone, again, with this understanding, and again, since people have some few people have replied, not everyone, I'm not taking these people into consideration. Of course, those who are replying, I know about them. So I'm taking into consideration that you have a Conestoga database, and you have this data in one of the table user info, because I'll be adding more tables over here. So this is one table where you have this data, user ID and user and password. So these are the data that you have. So now what we will do, we'll just start making that one. So this one's not done, this one, right? So this one is our main window, which is something I want to show later on. But let's first of all do what? Go to your project screen, project, right click on it, add, and here you see WPF. I want to add a new form over here. Again, I'll be talking to those who are following me, who are replying me. So I'll be expecting some replies from those people, right? So I have added a Windows new WPF form. Right? So WPF form, and I can call this form anything. You can call it first screen or first, whatever. First screen, I'm just calling it XAML, and this is WPF, right? Add this form. Now, interestingly, we have got this first screen. Now, this was our main window, and this is our first screen, right? So this is the screen that we might want to use for, you can call it for logging information, for a logging user ID, etc. Whatever we want to just create, right? So this is our window. So if you go into its XAML, you see that it says this is a window. And if you remember, this is also a window, which is the main window over here. And if I talk about this first screen, this is my first screen window, which is lying inside that particular thing, right? So let's try to do something with height. I'm leaving height as it is, or maybe if I can just change the width. I don't want this much maximum, so I can change this to 400. And again, please, I am expecting everyone to be following me, those who are replying me again. I don't want to talk about those who are not replying. Okay, so then we can apply a background color over here. So whatever color of your choice, for example, if I say black, you can just give it a direct color as well, right? So we can have a black background color on anything on this screen. So whatever you want, right? And then foreground color, like again, what will be just appearing on that foreground, equal to white, for example, right? So whatever will be coming over there on that window will be coming as white, right? So now I'll give you a quick sense of some other panels as well. You remember I talked about few of the panels. So what I'll do is that I'll just remove this grid from this one, and I'll use another panel. If you remember, you can just go and find out in my lecture. So there was in lecture slide, there was something good. So max panel, stack panel that I want to give, and I want to give it max width equal to 300. So I'm just creating a stack panel, and inside that stack panel, I'll try to just place my all contents. I've just removed grid. I'll keep that grid for my main window. If you see here, my main window has that grid, and I'll work in that. But first screen, I've just given a stack panel because I want to use a stack panel that will be using some of the different. So now, first of all, I want to create a label, right? Okay, so we have created a label, and what we can do, that label. So you can set up this text property, everything from your main from your properties window as well. So I am just using it over here, login user. If you see, you can see that it's basically showing it over here as well, that we have got something like login user is coming over here, right? So now let's do one more thing. Let me show you something interesting. So if this is stack panel, nothing is visible, my text is not coming over here, and I'll just try to find out what is going on over there. So first of all, what I'll do is that, for example, if you select this stack panel completely, I want to give it a border, this stack panel, right? So if you right click on it and use surround with, and in this surround with, you select tag, right? And the tag that I want to use is border. Just hold on a minute. It's giving the region. I want to add the border. Okay, just select that one, right click on this and surround with tag. And since this is a grid tag, no, I want a border tag. So what will be doing? Border will be doing, border will give us a very interesting fact. So now I have just given a border, and let me give any background color to this border of any color of your choice. And as I said, I can just randomly select something, C0 4A, whatever. I don't know what color is coming, right? So I've just taken this. You might be familiar with RGB coloring of that exact thing. Now, what I want to do, and as I shown you, as I have shown you over there. So there is something called a corner radius. So if I give you a corner radius of 20, for example, you see that now the screen inside that we have used has basically a corner radius of something, right? And what we can do is that we have just given that background color, we have given this a corner radius, and what else we can do? So we can give it a max width, for example. And for example, I give you a max width of 300, right? And not only this, there is something called property is margin, because it's just sticking up with the walls. So I want to just bring it somewhere over here, right? So now this is coming over here. And let's maybe give a foreground color as well, or no need for right now. So this is because this is showing the border. So now what is happening is basically now I have got this this border surrounding this typical stack panel, right? So I have a stack panel, and then in that stack panel, what is happening is basically it is just showing that one. So I was just talking about this label user, and what I can do is, for example, I can say foreground color for this one and set up white, right? So this will be white. And also what I want is, for example, font size. Let me make it a bit bigger. Just 12 is enough, 22, right? And let's make it, so I'm doing everything from our XAML code, right? So center, right? And no need to just close it separately. I can close it that one. So I have just created this login user. So far so good, everyone is following me. Now if I want to make a simple line behind that, after that you can just use a separator tag. The separator will give a solid line. You see there is a line coming over there. So anyhow, we can just create a separate line, right? So let's try to do everything with this XAML code, because we can just drag and drop things over there as well. And if you wish, you can always do that. Go to your like common controls. First of all, just bring up a label, and I'm just using now this one, and you can do whatever you want. So now let's take a label and create a label over here, right? And I can later on set up its, sorry, why I am unable to move that. Anyhow, let's first of all change its values. Okay, so this is a label that we have, right? You can want, like, it's showing content is equal to label. What I can do, again, I can change its properties from here. So I can say, for example, username, right? I want to just give it a username. And what else I want from this one? The content has been changed. I can give it an X name. Remember labeling. If you want to give it a label, for example, if you want, so you can always come over here. And I'm just telling you, just as I said today, I'm just telling you that what you have to do. So name X name equal to, you remember we used to call label username. So this is our label username, right? And then change its foreground color also to white, so that it's a bit visible. And let's make its font size as well to 22, right? So it's not visible. Let me just make a bit more. Okay. So what else we can just set up for that one? For example, we want to just set up its maybe width and height is already, I think I have settled that up. I think that's fair enough. We just want it to be like that, right? So this is our label that has come over here. And now what I can do is that I can now create a text box. So just bring up a text box over here. Right? And again, this text box, you can set up its properties anywhere from where you want. So I have just used this one, and you can use any of the features. So again, if I come over here, and text box, naming text box is very, very important, because that will be used for particularly for that one. So now I'll come here and I say txt username. This is very important, and we have to remember that, right? Txt username, and inside that I don't want any text right now. I want to delete that one, right? And let's make it again. You can change this appearance from here as well. Let's make it also 22, right? Whatever, you can just do that. Now we can just copy the contents as well. So I am just copying this this one from here, and rather than before copying, let me just copy this one. So I've copied this other label, and I can just name this one LBL password, right? And right now what I'm doing, you can just create a password field as well. But right now what I'm doing is that I'm just making it. So first of all, change the text password, right? So I have changed its name as well, label password. And in the same way, I'll just copy and paste this one. So this has come over here. Now remember to rename this text password, right? So this is text password, and the rest of the properties are almost the same. I don't want anything else. Now the last thing that I want to just bring up is the button. Bring up a button from here. All right. So let me just, why is it sticking up with this one? Margin equal to 20. So I'll just giving it a margin, right? You can just do that. Okay, so this button, so this is also important, btn and login, I'm just calling it, right? And I will say login for this button. And let's change its font, 22 maybe. Right, so this is our UI. Remember to rename that btn login. So just remember, just check everything. I want to text password, text username, all set for us. Now, if I want to run and check that one, that by default, my main window runs always. So you know that you remember that when we want to run this application, what you see is your main window, which will be blank. But I want to run this first screen. How to do that? Now let's see. This is the main window, which is not something I require. So now if you want to just run a particular file, that we have got this apps.xml, that configure file. If you open the apps.xml, you just go over there, remove this main window from this, and just write down first screen.xml, right? Now if I want to run this one, I'll have something like this. So you see now my this first screen is running rather than that one, which is not doing anything, of course, but this is just a. So now here I'll take feedback. How many of you are ready with this at least something like this user interface? And this is running as well with all those app.xml that I have done. I need a quick feedback from everyone. Yep. Okay, no problem, Baldi. Good to know. But again, no problem, Vinny. Okay, Monarch XAML file, you want screen XAML file, right? I'll just close that one. This XAML file, Monarch, you're okay. Yes, so you can. Okay, I can just do one thing for you. That XAML can be transferred over here, and we can just make it a big. That's good, Nimi. Good to know that you are in progress doing that. Okay. So this is the UI is ready with us, and now the real part starts. Monarch, thank you very much. So the real part starts now. We have to connect to the database, right? And which database? That the database that you have created, whose name is Conestoga. And again, I'm expecting that you people have this Conestoga database into your system, which has user info table, right? So what I want over here is, first of all, if you can just go to tools and select connect to database. Connect to database. Now I want to get connection to a database, and for that what I will need is, first of all, is if you see that if you have this Microsoft SQL Server SQL client selected as a data source, and I need to give server name. Now, very important part, if you don't know what is the server name, you open your SQL Server Management Studio, and if you see here, for example, this the name that is appearing over here, if you just right click on that, go to the properties, your server name is something like this. So you can just copy this one from here, just for the safe side. Copy this from this SQL Server Management Studio and come over here. So, and here, just write down your server name, like, copy and paste your server name. Akriti, good to see that you are also done. So you paste that server name over here. Now, when you will do that, you will find that your all databases will be shortly added over here. It will retrieve all the database, and you'll find all those databases over here. So I can see Conestoga over here. You people would be able to see the Conestoga also. Select Conestoga from that one and press OK. Got everyone? I'm just stopping at this screen for a minute. I have just pasted my server name, and if I didn't know my server name, I have gone to my SQL Server Management Studio here, and I have just right-clicked that one. This was my server name. Right-click that one, found out the properties, and out of those properties, I have selected the name, and I have copied and pasted my server name over here. And what it has helped? It has just basically loaded all my databases, and now here I have selected Conestoga out of this drop box. Okay, in data source you need to select Microsoft SQL Server SQL client Akriti. If you see that you have got these options, so out of these you have to select Microsoft SQL Server just, and OK. Got it, Akriti? Yes, and then paste your server name, your server name over here, and what it will do, it will just change your database into that one. Done, Akriti? If you are done with that, and select Conestoga from this drop down, select or enter a database, right? You'll find Conestoga in this drop down list. Now I'm pressing OK. I feel that now you people almost those who are following will be at this point of time. Now, if you see something interesting on my left side, this Server Explorer, you'll find one of the connection with this green like status. And if I click on this one, if I click on this tables one, you'll find that yes, it is showing me the tables over here. Is that right? So we have got a connection with our database. Like, you know, we have got one connection with our database. Is that right? Everyone is with me? Now come to, let's move it back to its original position. Let me just close this one. Okay, let me save that. So now you come back over here and do what? You just go in this login and double click on this button. Like again, we want to work on this login button. Now I am inside this login button. Click. Right? So here we have to do something very interesting. The first thing, and again, you know that you use SQL connection. We have to make a connection with the SQL, right? That same connection that we have opened up or we have used, we have to just, you know, use that one over here. So for example, you say SQL connection, SQL con, right, equal to new SQL connection, which is, it does not show, of course. Let me just first of all fix that one. So if it is coming, of course, you know that you need to add some libraries. Open that one. Okay, not like that. Okay. No, I don't want to use that one. Rather, just come up over here and using system dot which one is that? SQL client, data dot SQL client. Yeah, data dot SQL client. You just add that one, and hopefully that should fix that one. Why it is not fixing that one? Oh, I've not used the right word. I'm not using the right spelling. That's why it was not showing the fix that as well. So what you do, SQL connection, right? SQL con equal to new SQL connection. Still not showing. Interesting. That is interesting. Okay, let me just see why. Would not be for namespace system rather than language. Why is it saying that? Let me just see. Not really. Oh yes, Monarch. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You are right. You are right. You are right. You are right. So we need to install that package. Thank you. I just forgot to, because I have already in other projects it was all. So okay. So all of you just go to this tools, and you know NuGet package manager, right? Just open that up. Oh, that is open the console. No, I don't want to open the console. I want to just work on this NuGet package manager. So you see, come over here, and here just write SQL client. We want to find SQL client. So we need to first install that SQL client, and from browse search that. So system.data.client, right? The same file that I was about to I was trying to use that one. So it says not installed, and I want to just install that one. So project and install. So we have to install this system.sql client, right? Okay. So just everyone just install that one, SQL client. Okay, now it should be installed, and now it should show me the right thing. Right. So now I have installed that one, and now it should show me SQL connection. See here, now it's showing me. Thank you very much, Monarch. Thank you for reminding. So SQL connection, and I want to just create SQL connection equal to new SQL connection. Right. So first of all, what we need to do. So again, just a quick reminder that go into tools and NuGet package manager, and then in this NuGet package manager, what we have done, we have just installed one of the SQL client. If you come in your install, you will find that system.data.client. It should come over here. Everyone done that? Now, if you are done, of course, it will just now recognize this one. Now, a very important thing, I want to have this, connection string over here. Now, if you want to know the connection string, there's a very interesting way, as we have found out in our SQL server. You can just write, you can just select this one, and if you see your properties, you will find this connection string is coming over here, right, in the properties panel. And if the properties are not open, you can just always use F4 shortcut key. So I just copy this one and paste this connection string over here. Right. Now we have to just paste this connection over here. And now you know that sometimes this will give you error. And if you remember verbatim literal, we can just do that @ over here, and it will just work fine for us. Right. Now, please, everyone, do that. Now, it means that now we are starting to get into database. So we have just given this database connection over here, and this connection string will connect us to the database. And what database we are trying? Initial catalog. It's basically called as initial catalog. So you see that it is connecting us to the Conestoga database. And that is what we wanted to have. We wanted to have this one and wanted to connect it to the database. And the database name is basically Conestoga. Right. So now we want to just run something. We want to run a query, and if to run a query, we need to do a few things, and then we'll just do what. So first of all, we always put this type of code in a try catch block. I hope you people know what is try catch block. Like exceptions, we have just talked about in that our class, that what are these exceptions, and we can just talk about that one. So in it, that I'll just see here, I'll just catch an exception over here, and I'll call it EX. And what I'll do is that again, so if something wrong happens, of course, we can show a message box that will say something went wrong here in connection, maybe, right? So plus EX dot message. So we want to just have EX dot message, for example. So this is what I have done. So if something wrong happens, you just go and show a something went wrong message, make it correct, right? Now inside this try, come inside this try block, and now we have to do something interesting to run our commands. First of all, what we want to check, if the connection is not open. So basically we have to check if that the SQL connection that we are about to just work on, if that is closed or open. So for that, what we'll do, we'll say SQL con.state. We want to check the state of this connection, right? And what I'll do system.data.connection state dot closed. If it is closed, right, do what? So we want to open it. So for example, if some point of time it is closed, it will just, this if condition will go and open that one, right? So this first line will check if the connection is closed. We just want to open that connection, right? So now the fun part starts. For running a SQL, we need to make SQL commands. So you see something called SQL command over here. So that command will be responsible of running what we want to just basically execute over there. So write down SQL command SQL cmd equal to new SQL command. Now it will accept two parameters. The first one will be the query, and the second one will be the connection. Now we can pass our queries over here. If you remember queries, I have given you the introduction of queries in my in those lectures where database was discussed. So we have to write over here one query. And what will be that query? Because that query will go to the database and try to find out some data, and it will come and show us the data. So I'm writing a query, select. We can write this select asterisk from from a table as well, but here you can just do that as well. And what I am doing over here is that, for example, if I say just let's do that asterisk from. Right now, what is the name of our table? If you want to see the name of the table, just go over here and see this. The table name is user info, right? User info. So select asterisk from, and I'm just putting that, sorry, in square bracket just for my safety. Sometimes keywords do not match, sometimes problem. User info, right? Select asterisk from user info. If I do select asterisk from user info, I am saying that select everything from user info. But here I don't want to have everything from user info. Rather, what I want over here is that I want to just provide it a specific, specific user ID and username and password. And I just want to have those one, right? So if you want to have that one, what you will do here, we will just give a condition. So you remember, again, you can see my lecture of that one. So where what we say and see what are the fields in this particular table that we have user info. So it has username, password, and user ID. So we are not concerned with user ID right now. We'll just take the username. So I'll just say username, right? Where username equal to. Now here comes the problem. Here I will be needing some data from my form, like again from this WPF form. So user will enter a username over here, and I want to catch that over here. Now to catch that in query, what we use is we use a concept of this @ and variable, and we'll just define these as a parameter. This are called parameters. Will define them, right? So I'll say that username is equal to this, and this is normal programming language, right? And what is the other field that we might be creating? We'll just creating password, right? What is that field that we have? Password, capital P. Password equals, right? @ password. So I'll create a password field over here, right? So I don't want to select. I want to select everything where username and ID is passed, like is matching to this one, right? So that's something that I'll do. Now it means that I have set up a query that will run, that will execute. Now we need to do something else as well. We need to set the command type of this query. This is called command type. Now what does that mean? We want to just tell it that what type of command I want to run. Command type dot text. I think we don't need that one. You can just remove that one. It should work fine. Why it's not working? Why it does not exist in the current context? Yes. So system.data. There is another file that we'll use. Oh yes, equal. Thank you very much, Monarch. This is equal, of course. We are checking that. We are not setting that up. So thank you for pointing that out. Otherwise that would have been a problem. So yes, so for command type, what we have done, we have just added this system.data that will take care of this one. Now I want to add, or I will define these parameters that I've used. And to define those parameters, this is interesting. SQL cmd dot parameters. We have to define the parameters and add with value. We'll just give a value as well. Come over here. So first of all, what I've created, username. So this is my first username. So where should the value come from? From my form. And form has this text box. This text box name is text username. So what I want to have this value from txt username, right, dot text. So my first parameter. Now my second parameter will be what? Not txt username, rather txt password. By the way, I've used very simple password field. I've not used the password field right now, and not username. It will be what? Add password. Password. Right. So now here what we have to do? We have to run this command, right? So SQL command dot. So there are multiple functions for running a command. What I want to use over here is execute scalar. And let me tell you what is execute scalar. There are multiple commands to run. Execute scalar is one command that will just return a number on the basis of first record found. So here we are just looking for that record. I will use execute non-scalar as well, and there are certain other functions that we can use, but we can use. Now, when we'll just do that, we want to just have a specifically a number out of this. It will just return a number. So I'm just saying integer count is equal to, if you remember, convert dot to int 32, and I want to convert this result into this one so that I get a number from this one. So execute scalar will return a number, and I'm just converting that into a number and storing that into integer count. Now, if that user ID and password was correct, what will happen? Of course, this count will be coming up as a 1. So it means that record has been found, right? And else, we'll see that what we have to do with the found record. First of all, let's do with the else. So else will say message box dot show wrong username or password, right? We can do a lots of things with that one. So I'm just showing this message box dot show, and I'll show you message box different types as well shortly. Right? Wrong username or password. Is that right? Now, if that is successful, what I want to do, let's first of all check this one, and then I'll show you. First of all, I'm showing you that how success. You are welcome, right? A wrong username and password, just go away from here, whatever. Right? So let's check that whether this is working fine or not, because again, what data we have, you remember we have user1 and pass1 over there in that our field, and now I can just check this one. So I have just save this one and now run this. Trying to run that. Okay, so you see here, let's check its functionality. When I click on this button and I give something it's you know, so it says something went wrong, incorrect syntax near something. Okay, so it's basically some syntax problem as well. I'll just check that one, and let's, because it has a syntax problem, that means it should not work with anything. Let's see, near equal to. So Monarch, can you find any problem? There is something wrong with the code. Monarch is very actively finding that out today. It says near equal to. Password equal to password. This should be equal to this. Da-da-da. So it's coming over here, like, and let me just run that again. Let me see what it's doing. Okay, so it says incorrect syntax near equal to, and this equal to is where equal to. Since it is Not a syntax error. That's why it's not showing over there. So did I forget
Sequence
equal to?
SQL command comes after initializing the variables.
Sorry, can you just repeat that? I cannot hear you.
So this is the sequence of the query execution. SQL command, it should come after the parameters have been defined.
Which you are talking about SQL command? This one?
No, sir. The first, yeah, that one where we defined it. SQL CAD equals to new SQL command.
Okay, so you say SQL. Okay, I'm not getting what you are saying. Actually, just hold on a minute, because I cannot even hear you. Looks like my speaker has some problem.
Sir, I'm telling that. Can you hear me now?
Not now. Just hold on a minute.
I'll just miss.
Yeah. So what you are saying? Just say it again. I can now hear you properly.
Sir, I'm telling that SQL command should be executed after the parameters, I guess.
You mean this command type, or you are asking about this?
Yeah, first one. Yes, sir. That
line 35 you are talking about?
Yes, sir. Line 35, shouldn't it be after finding out the parameters?
Oh,
before the count.
Yeah, I can understand what you are saying, but that's not a problem.
Okay.
Hello, Professor.
That's not a problem over here. So parameters might be the parameters.
Hello, Professor.
Yeah.
I think it's on the SQL command itself, the query itself. Yeah. The where clause has a double equal sign. I think it should be a single equal sign. SQL. I tried to execute it and then it worked on my side.
So you mean that there is something wrong with this where command? Where ID?
The where username should have only one equals. It has two equals, right? And where username.
Oh, equal. I see. Right. So we are using this wrong, right? It should be equal to password equal. Oh yeah, because we are not comparing over here. Of course, we are just setting it up as equal to. Okay, yes, you might be right. Let's check that. Thank you. Yes, because it's not a double equal or triple equal over here. We are not using each other. Let's see that. Okay, that's excellent. Yes, you're right. The user one and pass one is basically now, if I just do that, success, you are welcome. So again, it means that now it is accepting. So yes, thank you very much. So that's the point. You remember I just did this equal to, or maybe I did the other way around. This was also supposed to be an equal to, right? So again, let's see. And again, how many of you are able to do that now? Just change it to single equal to, and let me know that how many of you are equal to. Just run that successfully like that. If I just run that, and if I show you login, it says success, you are welcome. And if I just give it a wrong something, you see that wrong username or password. How many of you can see that successfully? Quick. Done, Baldeep. Thank you very much. Now I need to just make a little change over here, little thing over here, just to make it work, because I don't want this message box over here. Rather, I want to open a new window over here. So if I want to open a new window, we have got main window with us, the same main window that we have, right? And I want to just show that one. So again, first of all, come over here and let's create something on this main Windows ML as well. Windows ML. So I have come to the main window, and I can just place a label over here just to see whatever is to show that one, right? So I want to have, okay. Rather, just not wasting any time. Main window.xml, we are here, and let's create a label here. Label and content, content equal to I am main window, right? Just to show something. Okay, so now what we want to do, we want to just basically show that whenever user clicks on that one. So what I will do, I'll say main window, and I can just name it anything. I'm naming it dashboard equal to new main window. So right, I'm creating the main window object, and I want to do what? Dashboard dot show. Just show this window, and this dot close. And I want to close from where you are opening it. I don't want it to be open anymore. So again, this dot close means whatever is calling me, whatever is calling you, should be closed by itself. Now, if you come over here, now you see again, if the password and ID are wrong, of course it won't execute. It will say something wrong. And if you say that user1 and pass1, which is the right one, which is the correct one, if I just go and please log in, you see that IAM main window is opening. Other than Baldeep, how many of you are done? Because if you are done, I'll just take a quick break, and then we'll come back with that other application that will give us. So again, this is the code if you want to see, this is the code that we have run. So yes, effectively, that was not the right thing that you were saying, that we'll have to just come out. So this username and ID will be equal to, and this will just check that whether this is equal to this one or this is equal to that one, right? Right. So how many of you are done other than Baldeep? How many of you can just now successfully see something like this? Yep. Other than Baldeep, anyone is done or not? Okay, this is very bad. No response is always very bad. Again, those who are working, they can just mention that I'm right now working, or I'm stuck at this point, at that point. But not getting a response is a crime. I've already told you lots of time that this is a crime if you're not replying at least. Yeah, of course, Cynthia, that's excellent. I can see that you are working now, right? But if I'm not getting any response, I'm just I'm just stuck, or I'm just blank with everything. Anyhow, that's okay. I'll have to just quickly give a quick reference to everything. So you see here what I've done. I have just, in the main window, I have created this form, and in this form I've just used like 4 text fields, 4 labels, and I have inserted a data grid, this one data grid, and these are the 4 buttons, and I've done nothing. This is just the UI that I've created. After creating this UI, what I've done in this Conestoga table, Conestoga database, I've created a new table with student info, and it has ID, which is primary key, and also its identity is set to 1 like again it will start with 1 and go increment of 1, and then name varchar, age varchar, phone varchar, and character city. So we have just defined that one. Now yes, let's come back over here and try to create something. First of all, this one is the most easiest one. Let's first of all go about that one and try to work on this clear data, clear form button, clear data button, whatever. So double click on this button. You see we are inside over here. I want to clear all the fields when someone clicks on this one, right? So all the fields. Now tell me, what is that all the fields? If I say text, name, you remember we have talked about this text name, and I have named that one in typically this way, right? So what I'll say, text name dot clear, text age dot clear, spelling wrong, and text phone dot clear, and text city dot clear. So I want everything to be clear when someone presses on that one, right? Simple as that. If I go and run that one, you will see our first button should start working. Okay, and right now I will be going through my first screen, like my login screen, to this one. Then I'll just set it up for that one. because I don't want to just make login again and again. So again, right now it will take me, after I'll pass the right user ID and password, login. You see, now this is form, but I don't want this one. I'll just do something. I'll just let you know, right? So it's a very badly managed, UI form, but anyhow, this should be. So now if I enter something, only my one button should be working. And what is that? Clear form. So if I that clear form, you see that everything is gets clear. Now, first of all, how I can directly run this one, because I don't want it to. So I'll just change it back to main window, right? Main window.xml. Now my main window directly run. I don't want to run this first screen right now, but you can later on add that one. Right? So now in this CS, if you see that it is clearing everything, but the problem is you might need this clear function lots of time. So how, like again, every after inserting a record, I'll be doing that. So instead of doing over here, what I can do, I hope you people can understand, public void clear data. I'm creating a function instead. You know why? Because I will cut this all from here and I'll paste this all from here. You understand what will be the benefit now? Now I can call clear data over here, and now this clear data will be available for any call. So now I can do that. Now if I'll run that, you definitely know that what I'll be running my main window, because I have changed that setting up over there. You see, so directly it is running. If I do something like that, clear form, it is just clearing that. Now the change is that now I have called a function clear data, and why this, you'll shortly see the benefit. There are lots of benefits of that, but I'll shortly show you the benefits. Right. So one more thing I want, whenever my server gets, like, or whenever my application runs, I want, if there is some data, that data should be visible in my data grid. Is that right? So to do that, what I will do, I will come over here and I will create another function, public void load grid. And this is another function that I will use quite often. So that's why I'm just creating that as a function, load grid. So now I am loading my grid with the data. Right? Everyone is getting that? Now to do that, I will be needing a SQL connection, because I want to bring that data from over here. So what I will do, I will just not make the SQL connection over here. Rather, I'll go to the top and I'll create my SQL connection over here. The same SQL connection that I created over there. Okay. So now it is not recognizing, of course, why not recognizing? So I'll say SQL con equal to new SQL connection. And let's use that. And we can centrally do that as well. We can just define that at one point and you can use that. Anyhow, see here, use system data, because there was no system.data client over here, and now it is showing me. Now you remember that what was that one? Just the same thing I need to copy paste over here, because I'm making connection to same database. So I come here and I paste it over here. Right? So SQL connection, I've just created SQL connection at the top. Why? Because everywhere where I'll be needing, I'll just use that SQL connection and work on my given data. Okay, so now this load grid, I want to run again a SQL command over here. So SQL command, not connection, SQL command CMD. Now I'll run a CMD over here, new SQL command. Right, so here the SQL command will come, and it takes two parameters, as you remember. So what is the name of connection? SQL con. So it will accept SQL connection and SQL command, the same thing that we have used before. Right? So now what command I want to use here? I want to use select everything from, yes, what is the name of my table? You remember? You remember that where we have just done that? If you see here, Server Explorer, we have got a table, we have got this database. Yes, student info. Let me just see. It is not showing that. Refresh that. It will show my database, like second table as well, because now I want to work on student info, not anything else. So you see student info. So I have to select everything from student info. right? I want to select everything from student, which is not there, which there is no data inside that, but right now I'm just using that one. Now to make it or to provide it to our grid, and by the way, I just forgot one thing. I did not name this grid properly. So I will just come over here and you see that it's not named. So I'll have to, I need this reference. So I'll call it data grid over here for myself, right? Because I need that reference over here now. So I change that one. Now come to this XAML and you see that first of all, I need something called a data table. And of course it won't recognize it. We need to create a data table. That data table will be, we will use that to basically, you know, provide the data to our grid view. So first of all, let's set it up. System.data. Yes, I want to use system.data, right? Right. So now we have created a connection and this connection is still not open and I want to just open that connection. Now just you can do that SQL con dot open, right? So connection open, and now we'll see data reader. So there's something called a data reader. I want to read the data. SQL data reader equal to CMD, the CMD that we have created, dot execute reader. Now this is execute reader that will go and read everything from over that one. So what we have done, we had a connection string. We have opened up the connection. We have created a data table. That data table will be able to just grab the data out of that, and then it will just. So now we have just created the SQL data reader. Now what I'll do, I'll say DT, the data table, I want to load you with this SDR, right? So this SDR should be command should execute, and you should be loaded with that data, right? So this is all internal right now. And here I will say, okay, I don't need my SQL con. I want to close you, right? And here what I'll do, I'll say data grid, my data grid, that grid that I have created, and it has a feature, like it has a property item source equal to dt dot default view. So we are just talking about the default view of that one, dt dot default view, right? So now what I want, whenever my application is loaded, these process should run, and this process I have given in a load grid. And you know what is the benefit of that? I'll show you. But first of all, I'll come over here and I'll call this function load grid, right? So let's run that one. Of course, there is no data in my student info. So right now might be, of course, it won't be showing anything, but I am calling that function, and I'll show you that when so you see that it's showing something like that. It's showing that the field ID, name, age, phone number, city, but it has nothing inside them. And let's quickly just add some records to it, just for looking at for the time being, and edit top 200 rows. So you know, ID should be created by itself. I'll just give record to it, 1 2 3 4 5, and city is Toronto, right? So you see that ID has been automatically created. And let's make maybe one more record, and Kitchener, right? So you see that ID is automatically being created. So I've just created some data, and if I now run my file, you will see that now grid will have data into it. Of course, if there is nothing wrong with that one. You see my Ellen and Brian, they are both coming over here. It's needless to ask that how many of you are successfully looking at it, because Baldeep will say yes. Is there anyone other than Baldeep and maybe Monarch who is able to see that this one? We have got two implementations, like we have got two things implemented. First of all, we have implemented like grid is showing the data. Secondly, we have used this clear form. Again, rest of the things we have to do. Right now, this clear form is working and the grid is showing. So is there anyone who is able to do so till now? Or maybe you will do that later on after looking at the recordings or anything, whatever. Up to you. Baldeep, are you done? Okay, Monarch, that's good. That's excellent. In progress is is something that's interesting. That's good, Baldeep. You are done. That's excellent. So let me show you again. So this is our load grid method that we have used over here. So you see in load grid, what we have done, we have got this, we have just run the command, select everything from student info, and then we have created the data table, open up the connection. Connection was defined over here, remember? So open that connection, and then we have defined, we have just created a SQL data reader object, and we have just read everything from that one by using this command. And by using this SDR, the SQL data reader, we have just loaded the data and set up that data in the item source. Right. So now let's move forward, right? Now, another thing that we want to do, we don't want user to leave any of the fields maybe empty, or maybe some of the fields you don't want them to leave them empty. For example, if someone leaves them empty and I'm inserting the record and there is nothing I have entered, it should prompt me. So now for handling that, what I'll do, come over here and create a function, public boolean. It will just return a public boolean is valid. So valid means validity. We are just checking the validity of the data, if the data is being properly used. So now you see that if we'll just use what, text name, text name dot text equals. Now there will be double equal, right? And we have a feature of a string dot empty, a property of string. So if text name dot text is equals empty, like nothing has been entered, so you quickly go and say, okay, message box dot show. So what you'll do, you'll say name is a maybe required field. Name is a required field. Now this message box dot show has multiple shapes. Now I'm telling you another very interesting one, and you can just later on find out that I'm giving another message over here, failed, right? Or maybe just caps, failed, or not filed, failed, right? And then I am giving something interesting over here. You see here, I'll say message box button. So again, you know that it has multiple types of button, okay, cancel, and okay something. I'm saying that this should show okay button, and I'm saying message box image. So there is some image also that comes up. So when there is an error, so error image should come up. You see, we have just added 2 more fields to that one, right? And if something else has happened, return a false from here. And you know, you have to do this all for all 4 fields if you want, or if you want, there are typically some fields. So I'm just doing this for the all 4 fields. So if this is equal to age, so we just need to change these, you know, text field. Oh, sorry. I've done the wrong thing, the opposite thing. So text equal to this text age. So you see that naming is so important of labels and text boxes, that now I can just easily go over there and see which was our last third one. I think phone, and the 4th one was city, right? So now we have got this facility that we can just quickly city, and you know that this will be changed. It will be just giving a message of name, but you can always change that, and you know that what does that mean. Age is a required field, and phone is a required field. Whatever, which field you feel is required, you just always mention that. City is a required field, or maybe you can leave out someone. Okay, and if no case matches, you return a true, right? This is just the opposite. They will all return the false, and this will return a true, because why? No case has been matched. Now let's see. Okay, so this is valid, right? So we can use this is valid function for what? For working on our insert button. So let's go to our insert button. Now double click on insert button. Of course, you will find that just behind that one. So now I am that insert inside that insert button. Right? So now, first of all, the same thing that I'll use this is valid function. Right? You know, if that returns a true, then I want to do that. Otherwise, I don't want to do anything at all. Right? So now let's make a SQL command, and you know that SQL command we need for inserting of data. So cmd equal to new SQL command and here again 2 parameters. One of them is that one, SQL con, like the connection, right? And the first one will be the query. Now same as we have done before. Now I have to write down insert query. Why? Because insert, I'm talking about inserting the data. Insert into, and what is that again? You remember student info. Our table name is student info. Right? And then values. This is again the syntax. And inside that, so I will just make few fields. Again, I'll bring up the text from there. So I'll say, first of all, I will say, for example, name, comma, age, comma, phone, comma, city. Right? I want to have values for that one. And these values will be coming again from these parameters. I'll just talk about these parameters we'll just talk about. So these will be 4 parameters that I'll add to it. Right? And same way we'll just execute cmd dot command type equal to command type dot text. We want to run this as a query, right? And now we have to add the parameters. cmd dot parameters dot add with value. And first of all, I'll say, for example, name, because I'm not using the ID. Why? I'm not defining the ID. Why? Because I have no field for ID as well. And as well as you remember, ID is a self, it will just increment, self increment by itself. Yes, auto increment. You're right. I'm using the wrong word, not self increment, auto increment. So name, age, and phone and city. So this will be age, and this should be age.txt, right? So I hope now you people are getting that. Text phone now, and this should be equal to phone, my third parameter, phone, and the last parameter is city, txt city, txt city.text. Right? So we are almost done. We have created 4 parameters, 4 params that I have to add. Now I have to open the connection. SQL con dot open the connection. Now see here, cmd dot execute non-query. Now what is this execute non-query? A function that does not return anything, rather just executes the query, because here I am inserting some value. I don't want it to return anything, right? So you can, as I said, there are multiple functions: execute scalar, execute reader, execute non-query. You can always have reference to them, and you can just look at how do they work. SQL con dot close. I want to just close this connection. I'm done with that. Query has been executed. Now you see what I want. Whenever insertion is done, you see, whenever insertion is done, you have to do something. What? Load grid. Remember, we have used this load grid, right? And not only that one, rather, and we can do that later on. We have to clear the fields as well, because after insertion, I don't want them to be in the real position. So you remember the benefit of calling those functions. Now you see here. Now I'm showing a message box dot show over here. First of all, I'll show the message box to the user, and again, successfully inserted record. Inserted record, right? And now again, saved. This is a message, and I'll show you where these all will appear. Message box, and button. Dot OK, comma, and then message box image. I want to have this message box image dot information. There is a small icon for information as well. So this will be for information purpose only, not an error. So here it was an error. You remember? Here it will show an error, but it will show here in information box, and you will see that shortly. And now I can do that clear data. So the benefit of defining the function clear data. I hope we are done. Now let's go back over there. Oh, there is some error. I left out something, or I missed something. Expected character backslash. Oh yes, unexpected. Right. Okay, so this is our. So greet is being loaded. Now I want to add another data, and I say John, age is 22, phone number is 1234567 whatever, and city is 1. Right. Now I want to insert that record. Let's see if I have got everything right. Successfully inserted the record. Okay. Screen cleared, like that fields cleared, and now I have got this John's record over here. I can add more. David 44 2222, city is London, right? And press insert. You see how much things are happening. When I insert, the record is added, my grid is loaded, and then message comes, and then my field gets cleared. Are you people looking that? Okay, so now our three buttons, like 2 buttons are working. Clear form is working, insert is working, and you see if I just blank it, you see this is the error symbol. Okay, so if I just insert something into name and just insert record, you see age is required because it is going in the sequence. Okay, age is required, I give age. If I insert record, city phone is required, right? This is all those working that we have just mentioned. Insert record, it says no city is required field. Definitely I need to enter a city. Now if I press insert, is valid is returning true, and now it has added this garbage record over here. Right. So should I ask someone that who has done that? Or I should not have that much courage? Monarch, are you following me up? Are you able to just have this all done? Anyhow, because I will be just, I'll just try to complete that one, and then I'll leave it for you people to just do few of the things by yourself. Now, so these 2 buttons are working for us. Excellent, yes. So now these 2 buttons are working for us. And if you see that now we have got insertion, we have got our data grid that is showing the data. So it looks like very beautiful, right? Not that beautiful, but functionality wise, it's working fine. Right? So now if I want to update or delete record, I need to have something like, again, I need to have something for which I want to delete or update the record. So I'll give you a quick common thing, but I will ask you people to just work on rest of the things. So come back to over here. So maybe when you have to update a record, you might be asking for a particular record to enter or to particular record to be done. Let me just make it this window height a bit more. .550, that looks a bit good. Why it has gone so big? So it was big, it was just waiting for window to get bigger. Right, so let's see that. So now let me just select these 4 buttons and bring them down. Right, so here what I'm doing, oh, these are also stuck into one another. Okay, just have a look, because everything is disturbed. Let me just see that it's working fine. Okay, so it looks good and everything is working, hopefully. Clear form and everything is working, hopefully. Insert record is working. No age is required. enter something, insert record. Yes, inserting again a very garbage sort of records, and I've not made sort of lots of so now what I want to do here, I want to just ask user for a particular record to delete. You can just do it by your own way. What I'm doing here is that, for example, I am saying I'll just take the ID over here and I'll say LBL ID, and I'm taking this ID for what? Just to delete something. 20. And now let's take a text box, create a text box over here and call it txt ID, right? Why? For just deleting purpose, I'm just taking that one. So I have deleted this one and I will add or 20, whatever the text will, right? So its name is txt ID. That's important. That's something that you need to remember. Now, if you have to delete something, you will just, or maybe update something or delete something. I'm talking about delete first. You will have to work on update, and I'll tell you that what is the way of doing that. So double click on this one. We have gone inside that one. Button click, right? So in this button click, what I want to run a query. For example, I'll say, for example, first of all, SQL con dot open, because I will have to open the connection. Now let's make a SQL command. SQL command cmd equal to new SQL command, and let's write the query. Delete from student info where ID, right? Where ID, which is the field over there, ID equal to, right? And now we have to just add the ID over here. So what I'll do, just see here, I'll put a single quotation and I'll press 2 pluses over here, and here I'll just go to txt ID, and dot text, bring up that ID, and inside that inverted commas a single quotation, right? And then a terminator. See the syntax. I am placing this ID into a single quotation, but of course this is a variable that is coming, that is a data coming from. So I just that whatever text IDs come, just delete that from that table, right? Okay, and then what we want? I want to run this command. So I'll say okay, cmd dot execute non-query, because I don't want to return. Oh yes, we can use a parameter over here as well. So I am just giving you, Monarch, another way of you can just directly access that as well. So these are both of the ways. You can select one of them, either of them, right? So execute non-query, and after that message box dot I'll take that message box show from over here, because this is also for information. I'll copy this one, right? And I will say deleted successfully deleted, right? Deleted record, not saved, deleted, right? And okay, and then information, I just want to keep it that for information. Now after deletion, what I will want, I hope now you people understand that. I want to first of all close this connection, SQL con dot close, right? And then what I'll do is that I will load grid. Every after operation you have to load grid, right? So let's save that one, and now let's run that one. Oh, deleted spelling is incorrect. Where? Okay, yes, thank you, Monarch. You have been looking very intelligently today. It is delete. Still wrong. Delete, right? Now it should be fine. Is there anything other wrong? Maybe, Monarch, if you can find. Okay, that's good. Excellent. Thank you very much. Now see here, I want to delete a typical ID. I want to, first of all, let's see. I have not changed this label. You can change that way. If I do 6 and press this delete record, let's see if it works. Okay, there is something wrong. Okay, so just remember one thing, and I have not done that before as well. You have to always place this type of code that is prone to errors always inside the try catch, right? So that we can see what is going on. So come over here. I'll just stop that one. You see that there is some exception error and my program is abruptly going out. That is something that we don't want. So try block, you know, there's something called a try block, and then there is a catch. That catch is the exception ex, and let's first of all message box dot show and not deleted. There is something wrong, right? And we'll see that what is wrong. Ex dot message, right? So we'll see that message over here. And in try block, what I'll do, I will just cut this all code and put, and by the way, I have to do the previously as well, but I'll just doing it right now for this one. I'll place that inside this try and catch block and see what happens. Maybe there is something wrong. So it'll just give the message what is going on, why it's not deleted. Okay. Okay, right. So now let's take this one, maybe number 6, and delete record. Okay, so it said not deleted, execute non-query, connection property has not been initialized. Okay, so you see that now it is showing me that connection property has not been initialized. Why it is doing that? I just opened up the connection. Oh, yeah. What is the mistake you find? Actually, I am not using this con over here, right? SQL con. You need to use that one. That was the reason it was not running. Right. So now let's see number 6, and I see delete record successfully deleted, which is still showing, of course. And you know that when the grid will be loaded, of course, this should be gone. You see, I am giving 5 delete record, successfully deleted record, 5 is gone. I can see 6 or 4, whatever. I will delete 4 one as well, delete record, and it is gone. Got everyone? This is something that we are basically doing. And always remember, there is a finally block as well, if you remember, that always runs. So we usually do what? SQL con.close. We'll do that closing over here, right? So we'll just usually close it over here. So it will close the connection as well, by the way. Now, yes, so this is now our 3 buttons are working fine. If you see, we can insert a new record, we can delete records, and we can just do all those things from the database. And you know, everything is being changing in our database as well. You can always find that. You see, I can add a new record, new student, 1, 2, and you will see a difference over there. And I'll say you what is going on. If you say insert record, you see that successful record, but this is the 7, so it is always auto incremented. You know, the deleted one is gone, but you can just always do that in our code by using that. So now I will just leave one on you, this update record. So for update record, what do you mean by multiple validations, Monarch? What do you mean by multiple validations?
I mean to say that let's say if phone number is incorrect, the character is incorrect, right? Inserted value.
Yeah.
And how can we validate using a different function?
Okay. That's excellent. So now listen about that, Monarch. What you can do is you want to say that phone number format is not correct, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So for that, you know, for these typical validations, there is something, you know, if you know about that, there is something called, if I just write it, regular expressions. You know about regular expressions?
Yes, sir.
So you can do a lots of thing in this one. But let me show you this is valid function. Where is that is valid function? So if age text is equal string dot empty, this is one of the thing. Might be you can say that text age dot text is greater than or less than something. You can just say that it should not be that like that. For example, let me just do that for you. If txt age, I'll have to convert that into integer first of all. You understand what I'm saying? Convert to int 32. Txt age dot text. You know what I'm saying, Manad? If it is less than, for example, I say 18, right? So it says you are not allowed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're not allowed. Let's see if it works. So I have just converted that. I had to convert that into integer because the value comes as the string and you need to convert that into integer. Let's see if it works. Fine. Okay, so let's put a random number and let's put value 2. For example, age is less than 2, number and any city, and insert record. You see, you are not allowed. You see, so this is one why it is coming, and you can just of course give a message that you are not above 18. So I say okay. If I say 20 and I say insert record, you see the record has gone. So Monarch, there are umpteen like opportunities that you can do over here. You see, you can see that it's something like that, or maybe what you can do is that you can just put up an odd symbol over here, not like that. Something like this. So you say that again, that same thing, that it should not be string.txt string not should be equal to 0, whatever. But you can have a lots of functionalities. Monarch, you got the point? Now the
Yes,
only
sir.
thing that you people
Yes, sir.
have to implement in that one is the update part, and I will leave that update part on you. And now I'll just stop it over here. Update part, what you have to do, just listen about that. You have to capture the number from this ID from this one, and in this update record, you have to just go about same way as we are going over there. In update record, you will just open up a connection, right? And then you will find out that ID's text like this I have find out. And then you will have to run the update query. Now I'll just write in a comment, I'll just write the update query for you, so that you know. So I'm just writing the update query. So what is update query? You'll write update student info, and now there is a word that we use, set name equal to. Now what you want to do, for example, you want to set the name equal to, I'm just giving you a reference thing which is wrong over here, text name dot txt dot text. What does that mean? So you want to update that, to select the ID, and you want to give a new name or whatever you want to update. You can just do that. For example, is equal to new that text, and then you can say where ID equal to, and again same ways you can just set up or get that ID from that txt ID dot text. You understand? I've just written down a very vague statement, but I want you to just to remember that you can do this update sort of thing as well. So should I expect that you people will be able to do that updation? So for that, you will have to look at the update query and then run that update query inside that one. So now if I just make this program a bit more like more realistic, I'm not doing that update, by the way, I've just mentioned you. So app.xml, now I'm saying first screen, so that we just log in and then we work on that. First screen.xml, and now I run that one. Okay, right. So now you see here. So unless again I use the right ID, it will never allow me. User one, pass one, and if I do login, okay, now I have this function, and you can just rephrase this one and this one also should. So now I'll just give it a name, for example. Okay, first of all, check that insert record. It says no name is required, and I'll have to give the name. So I'll say Brian, whatever again. Age is 22, and then phone number is whatever, and the city is any city, right? Whatever. And you just do the insert record. The record is inserted. You can see that record. If you want to delete a particular record, you go over here and I say ID 7, I want to delete record, successfully deleted, record has been deleted, right? If you want to say clear form, your clear form is also working. You can always do that clear form. Was that helpful to everyone? Now listen about that one. Is there anyone who has completely followed me other than this update and they are done with most of the things? Who are you? Who amongst you is the one who has done all that? Excellent, Baldeep. Baldeep, have you done the update as well? No. Have you tried the update also? Okay. Doing it now. Okay, that's excellent. That's excellent. Now you people listen about this. I'm just leaving it over here, and update record is something that you have to do. Listen one more thing very clearly. Out of our evaluations, if you remember that we have got still, I think assignment 3 is remaining. If you remember, assignment 3 is not published, right? Assignment 3 is not there. If I'm not wrong, Baldeep, can you just confirm that, or anyone? So for assignment 3 purpose, if it is not, again, so today's exercise, this complete exercise, including the login screen as well, you have to complete this and submit this as assignment 3. So this will be very easy, like this class concept. But what you have to do, you have to just make it more beautiful. Try to come up with some new ideas with good buttons, with some this labeling and everything, and then just submit this one. So again, this is something that you will have to submit against that hour. So it should run in this way, that it has got a, and try to make it as proper as possible. I'll just give you some time so you can just do that. So for example, you will pass something over here, and you can just do login. If it is correct, it will just log you in, and once it is login, this all functions should be running. When I say that I want to remove this 8 ID, delete record, and the record gets deleted from my fields. Got everyone? So you have to submit, everyone has to submit this completed project with some beautiful UI, as I have tried to do something in the login screen, but you have to convert that over here as well. And you have got everything over here. I can share the code also. I'll just definitely right now share the code with you people. Why? Because sometimes you might be. So I'll just share this complete project with you, and you can just have that one. So is that clear to everyone? I'm about to share that code.